Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying a war drama film, entitled Casualties of War. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with Max Erikson, a veteran of the Vietnam War, riding the subway in 1974 when he all of a sudden has a flashback from his time in the war. A young Vietnamese lady boards the train just as it is about to leave the station. Erikson glances at her with a disturbed expression on his face as he recollects the incidents that occurred during the Vietnam War. In the month of November in 1966, a group of United States troops headed by Lieutenant Riley is out on patrol in the jungle when they are unexpectedly ambushed by members of the Viet Cong. During the attack, the ground underneath Erikson splits up, and he falls into a hole that is part of a tunnel system that runs beneath the jungle. Erikson is now trapped inside the tunnel. He was about to be killed when Sergeant Tony Messer dragged him out of the way and shot a Viet Cong who was about to attack him. This saved his life. The next morning, Erikson and Messer, together with the other members of their squad, Corporal Thomas Clark, Private Hatcher, and Specialist 4 Brownie, are resting for a breather in a river village located in the Central Highlands. Brownie is simply sitting and having a good time when all of a sudden he gets shot in the neck, causing a lot of blood to lose. Apparently, the village they thought was safe from the Viet Cong. Brownie is taken to the hospital by helicopter after the troops are successful in fending off the attack. The platoon has been ordered to return to their home base. Brownie is not able to make his life long. The death of Brownie has a significant effect on Messer's life. Following the incident that took place with Brownie, Messer requests time off for his squad for the trauma they had from the attack, but they are denied. They have already made preparations to spend the night in the closest village. However, they are required to report for duty the next morning at 6 in the morning. It is Messer's intention to visit a brothel in the area, but not until after he has informed the squad that Brownie has died as a result of his injuries. A military police, who is also their company command, does not allow the squad to enter the brothel. Private First Class Antonio Diaz has come to take over as the stand-in for the radio operator. Messer informs his troops that their next mission will involve kidnapping a local girl for their personal entertainment since the squad was denied taking time off. Messer makes an effort to legitimize the abduction by declaring that they will requisition the girl. Erikson confides in his buddy Rowan about his worries, but Rowan relieves Erikson's anxieties by assuring him that Messer is clearly kidding. Just as the squad enters the village, Tran Thi Oan is kidnapped in front of her mother and sister. Oan's mother could only cry and beg to free her daughter, but Messer laughs as nothing happens. Everyone in the village witnessed the abduction, and no one ever dared to fight against the American soldiers. The squad brings Oan to their mission and even makes her bring some heavy things and makes her their servant. Messer assures Erikson that the two of them are going to have a good time with the girl once they reach their outpost. Both Erikson and Diaz are opposed to the idea, and Erikson expresses to Messer that there is absolutely no way that he will take part in the assault. The squad teases Erikson for being a homosexual and afraid to take charge of the assault. Even though Messer puts Erikson's life in danger and makes every effort to convince him to participate, Erikson maintains his composure in the face of pressure from his senior commanders. Diaz is unwilling to go against his comrades, and he participates in order to prevent himself from becoming an outcast inside the group. When Clark holds a knife to Erikson's neck and instructs him to go on guard for the night, Erikson is furious and ready to aid Oan. However, Clark stops him. As Hatcher moves away from him, he makes careful to keep his gun pointed at him so that he does not do anything. Erikson feels powerless and appalled as he watches his other soldiers take turns in the cabin with Oan while he is stationed as a watchman. Later on, the squad will have to establish a position on a railroad bridge that looks out over a river supply depot that is controlled by the Viet Cong and serves as the enemy's headquarters. Both Erikson and Hatcher make their way back to the outpost in order to get some more weapons and ammunition supply. Clark is eager to have a piece of the action, so he instructs Erikson to watch over the girl while he and Hatcher go have some fun. Erikson is well aware of the severity of Oan's treatment of the soldiers. She is unwell, dehydrated, weak, and crying all night and day, and she has cuts and bruises. Oan has been greatly tortured by Erikson's seniors, and he can't do anything about this. Erikson offers Oan something to eat and some drink. When Clark and Hatcher show up at the house without Erikson, Messer explodes with anger. He instructs Erikson to get back to the outpost and bring the girl and himself back there. When Erikson understands that he would be considered a fugitive if he leaves the outpost with Oan in order to bring her to safety, he is almost about to depart with her. Erikson makes the decision to leave after seeing how eager the girl is for him to accompany her. However, just as they are ready to go, Clark appears and puts a stop to their escape attempt. The squad is keeping an eye on the railroad for an opportunity to strike. Messerv orders Erickson to murder Oan because she is coughing and might alert the authorities. Hatcher is ordered to do it by Messerv when Erickson refuses, but he protests that he has no interest in doing it. When Clark spots the incoming helicopters, Messerv urgently tells Diaz to kill Oan. Diaz is about to stab her while Messerv urges him, but Erickson shoots into the air to draw the attention of the Viet Cong and put a stop to the murder. Clark stabs her several times during the shootout, but Erickson is too preoccupied with the other enemy soldiers to notice. When the Viet Cong brings their guns up the river and starts launching rounds at the bridge, the situation gets critical. Using a machine gun, Messerv kills them. Bleeding heavily from her stab wounds, Oan slowly rises to her feet and attempts to escape. Walking in tears and looked like there was no hope to survive. Messerv gives the command to open fire, and the team executes it. When Erickson steps in to help, Messerv shoots and knocks him out. After Oan is shot by the squad, her corpse is thrown off the bridge and dies on the cliff. Erickson sees this and only sees the helpless Oan on the ground. Following Messerv's direction, his troops have fled the area. Slowly losing consciousness from the blow to the head delivered by Messerv, Erickson watches as helicopters fly in and fire missiles at the riverboat the Viet Cong have been using. A U.S. Navy ship in the area is destroyed by fire as a result of the explosion. Erickson is taken by a helicopter to the nearby hospital, where he later returns to consciousness. Rowan learns from him that Oan is kidnapped, raped, and ultimately murdered. Rowan instructs him to see Lieutenant Riley and speak with him. Riley offers Rowan a lengthy response on how the event may harm the tactical record of his squad, and he proposes that it is better to simply forget about the incident altogether since this has been a normal thing in the military. Rowan is not convinced by Riley's reasoning. Erickson is so intent on seeing that justice is served that he is willing to put his military career at risk by going behind Riley's back and telling Captain Hill about the situation. Hill takes a severe approach to the matter, berating Erickson and encouraging him to pursue the matter by informing him that the soldiers won't receive much of a sentence if they are convicted and that they could make life very difficult for him, Erickson, and his family when they are released from prison. Hill's approach is harsh because he believes that Erickson is more likely to pursue the matter if he is encouraged to do so by Hill. He claims that this will result in significant issues on a global scale, and he informs Erickson that he is not required to provide information of this kind. Erickson is surprised to hear this. It will bring nothing but shame to the United States military. Clark, who is unaware of the fact that Erickson has already alerted his superiors, makes an attempt to kill Erickson with a grenade. When Erickson sees Hatcher greeting Clark while the latter is hidden from view inside the bathroom, he becomes suspicious that something fishy is going on. Erickson notices the bomb and bolts out of the toilet just in time to escape the explosion before it occurs. Messerv is brought into the argument by Erickson, who then uses a shovel to strike Clark. He informs them that everyone is already aware of what they have done and that no one in power wanted to listen to him anyhow, even if they were aware of it. At the bar, Erickson numbs his pain with alcohol and opens up to a preacher about his struggles in life. After the death of Oan is found during the midst of an inquiry, Captain Hill informs Erickson that the axe he took would have consequences due to the fact that he was unable to leave the matter alone. The soldiers are put on trial before the court-martial. Messerv is given a sentence of 10 years of hard labor, Diaz is given a sentence of 8 years of hard labor, Hatcher is given a sentence of 15 years of hard labor, and Clark is given a sentence of life in prison with the possibility of parole. Messerv bends up to Erickson's ear as they leave the court, and with a frantic expression on his face, he whispers something inaudible. Erickson stares at Messerv. The movie ends with, at this point, Erickson has returned to the present moment severely troubled after waking up from his flashback on the train. When the train arrives at the next station, the Vietnamese lady who always brings up memories of Oan gets off. When he saw that the lady had forgotten her scarf, he immediately grabbed it and got off the train in San Francisco so he could give it back to her as she was walking up to the street level to travel to Mission Dolores Park. The young Vietnamese lady observes Erickson's haunted expression. She asks Erickson directly whether he reminds the girl of anybody, and she attempts to reassure him by telling him that his nightmare is now over. A smirk can just almost be seen on Erickson's face. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and help the channel grow.